How's it going, everyone? Expert Gamer here. Welcome back to the Donkey Kong 64 Expert Challenge. We have just completed the beginning part of this challenge, where we had to collect 6 golden bananas with each Kong from Jungle Japes, Angry Aztec, and DK Isles. Now that we're done with that, we're not allowed to collect any more golden bananas from those 3 levels. On top of that, we also can't collect any golden bananas from Gloomy Galleon, the 4th level in the game, and we can't turn in any blueprints from Kasplats for golden bananas either. This is going to leave us with a very limited pool of golden bananas that we can collect throughout the rest of the challenge. We will eventually need 100 golden bananas to get into Hideout Helm and beat the game, and we're going to need to collect nearly every possible golden banana in order to get to 100. So as I go through each level, I'm going to explain how to get the hardest golden bananas in the level. I'm not going to explain how to get every golden banana, but if you want to know where to find all the golden bananas, I will post in the description links to Donkey Kong Wiki where it explains how to find all the golden bananas in the level. In this video, I will be going through Frantic Factory. For this golden banana with Diddy, we're going to have to kill waves of enemies, and we're going to have to use oranges to do it. In this room, you'll see that the doors have a 4-digit number on them, and we have to input this 4-digit number using these buttons. Once we input the number, enemies are going to come out. So this first wave is going to be easy. Just turn around and spam oranges in their direction. You will notice that you have unlimited oranges, so you don't have to worry about running out of them. This section has bees, which is going to make this a little bit tricky. First, go ahead and take out the grounded enemy. Then, you're going to have to go to a higher elevation to throw bombs at the bees. To do that, you'll have to jump on top of the frame of one of the doors, as you see I'm doing on screen. Once you get on top of the frame, go into first person, and then start throwing bombs at the bees. So I actually skipped over one of the doors, and the reason for that is it's just more ground-based enemies.
Welcome to bonus stage.
So if you've played this game before, you know that Beaver Bother is both the hardest and most annoying bonus stage in the entire game, but the one in Frantic Factory isn't too bad. What you want to do here is you want to kind of run in a circle and kind of spiral down towards the hole as the beavers run from you. What you don't want to do is stand directly behind the beavers when they're right up against the hole, because they're not going to go in if you do that. You have to go at the beavers from an angle in order to get them to go in the hole. Luckily, this is a lot easier to do in Frantic Factory than it is later in the game. In this room with Chunky, we're gonna have to fight off waves of toys, and then fight a toy monster at the end. For this first enemy, we need to go into first person and then throw a bomb at him. And we need to be quick because he's going to charge at us. You will notice that unlike in the Diddy Kong room, we don't have infinite bombs here, so we need to use them sparingly. For these things, you want to run into one of the front corners of the room and then throw bombs at them. And you'll see here that your bombs don't lock onto them like other enemies, so they're kind of hard to hit. These next enemies you gotta be ready for because they run at you fast. And you'll see here that I only had 3 bombs left at the end, so make sure you come in with a full stock of bombs. So this toy monster qualifies as a mini-boss, so we can kill it without having to use bombs. Which is good because that's impossible to do. Instead, what we have to do is go in this chunky barrel and then hit him a bunch of times. You need to be careful though, because he can hit back, and if you take any damage you'll have to exit the level. You'll notice what I'm doing here is I'm trying to go behind him and hit him from the back or the side, and the reason for that is because if I try to hit him from the front, I'll be vulnerable to his attacks. And I'm also trying to move away fast so he doesn't have time to hit me. This takes me a few minutes, so I'm going to speed up the gameplay a little bit. And those are some of the toughest golden bananas to get in Frantic Factory. The only other golden banana in the level that's at all hard is the one for the Donkey Kong arcade, but I'm going to showcase that in the next video when I talk about how to get to the Nintendo coin. So without turning in any blueprints in the level, there are 20 golden bananas you can collect. And you will need to collect all 20 of them to get into Fungi Forest because 50 golden bananas are required to enter. Now we're going to fight Mad Jack, the boss of Frantic Factory, and this will be the first boss we will have to beat in a time limit. That didn't apply to the first 2 bosses, but for all the bosses going forward, that's the rule. We will have 2 minutes and 50 seconds to beat this boss. So while Mad Jack jumps around, you want to try to avoid situations in which he's going to jump on your square next. And the reason for that is, when he's about to jump on your square, he will bounce slower than he otherwise would, costing you time. So a trick you can use to keep him from jumping on your square is to jump back and forth between 2 squares diagonally, and he will just go in a circle and never get to your square. Once he pops out, he will start throwing fireballs at you, and when he does that, you always want to be moving, and you want to try to avoid going towards him when he does that. And just a refresher on this boss, you want to slam the switch of the color that he is standing on. So I'm going to stay in the middle 4 squares so that I can be centrally located whenever he pops out and quickly get to the switch no matter where it appears. It's completely random where the switch you want to hit is going to be, and it's going to take a little bit of luck to beat the time limit, but you can improve your chances by staying in the middle. So before I slam the switch right there, I moved out of the way of the fireball. Never try to slam the switch at the same time the fireball's coming at you. So you'll notice that Mad Jack will never go back to the same space that he came from. And that is the case the first 3 times you get him, but that will change after you get him the 3rd time. So after you get him the 3rd time, he will start to double back on himself if you're standing on the same square that he just came from. Because of that, it's going to be a lot harder to keep him from jumping to the square you're on next. The best strategy I have for dealing with this is to wait until he's jumping on your square, and then jump diagonally across. That way, every other jump of his will be the fast jump when he's not going for you. So now he's going to shoot lasers at us, which I actually think are easier to dodge than the fireballs, and the way you want to avoid them is by not being on the platform when the laser hits it. If you're quick, you can get across 2 squares in between shots. I luckily never have to go that far to get to a switch. So now he's going to turn invisible, but you can tell where he is based on the sparkles. Just do the same thing you did the last time you got him. So I got pretty good luck with the switches, which allowed me to beat the time limit. And unfortunately, there's just no getting around this luck component to the boss. But if you stay in the middle and you keep him from doing his slow jump most of the time, you will improve your chances to beat the time. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to come back for the next video for when I take on the boss of Gloomy Galleon, among other things. And remember kids, don't try this at home. I'm what you call an expert.